Time to tie. It's gonna be an assortment of flies today. I'm just trying to fill up a box. So we're gonna do a little bit of everything. A little dry, a little nymph, a little streamer. Oh, trout. We're not gonna do any bass flies. I have this soft tackle, and I wanted to use it for some nymphs. So we're gonna see how many sets of legs we can get out of one soft tackle tip. Actually, this one I think I trimmed out it's looking a little strange. Maybe I trimmed that out. This one is a little bit better. I'm picking this one because it's ugly. So this will be a good one to use for some legs. Let's get our hook going. Thinking, here's a small. Start small, then get progressively larger. The olive hare's ear is a slept-on fly. The olive hare's ear is a good pattern. I'm not seeing a lot of people tie them these days, but it is a good one. Also, the natural hare's ear, another good pattern. Let's get our thread started. This is a 16 with a 2.8 millimeter bead, which is a nice size. Well, a little bit on the smaller size actually for a hare's ear. Well, a little bit. So let's get it going. We need thread. This will work. I'm getting a thread base down. And then we need some tail material. We can use this soft tackle. I'm just going to take out a section. It doesn't have to be very thick, and it doesn't have to be tied in very long. In fact, shorter I think would be better. And that's a little bit long. There's a good size. And then we'll tie in that tail. This is a pretty material heavy, so there's gonna be a lot of different tie-ins. The taper is gonna be built by material, specifically around the abdomen. A nice taper would make the fly look better, but I don't think it matters for fishing. We'll do a little rib, maybe copper wire, darker copper wire. There's the chartreuse wire as well, that might be nice. So we'll tie in our rib. And then this is a jig hook, so it's gonna ride like that. So we're gonna do a wing case. You could tie the wing case on the back side, but I'm gonna tie it on the front side, or at least try to. Get some dubbing. This is a box of all things olive dubbing. And I'm thinking A little bit paler might be nice. This is a synthetic. I don't know what the kind this is, but I'm just gonna size up my rope. And that's plenty. Then I'm gonna start tightening it down, twisting in one direction. I just thought of something. Maybe I should have done the chartreuse rib with this lighter dubbing. That might have been a good look. I'm dubbing the abdomen, and I'm gonna dub it all the way up. I have too much dubbing on there. I'm gonna take some of it off. We'll save that for later. And then I'm going to wrap my rib a paper between me and the hook to focus. Yeah, I should, but where would I put, how would I hold that paper up? Tape it to my chest, a little chest paper. They should make, yeah, that would be $1 million invention, man. And cut off that rib, and then I'm gonna tie in, I'm coming back over the abdomen because I want to do a wing case, and you could use turkey, pheasant, any kind of wing for the wing case, but I'm gonna use a synthetic flash. Not too much, just a bit. I'm gonna tie it in, draw it back, back, and then cinch it down. The wing case, the issue I see with a lot of nymphs, hare's ear, pheasant tail, is the abdomen is too long and the thorax is too short. This is if you want an anatomically correct fly. It doesn't matter when you're fishing it. But we're gonna try to lengthen that thorax, that wing case. Then we'll come back with our dubbing. Synthetic, a peacock would be nice too here. Peacock herl would be good here. We're gonna come back with this synthetic, do a little loose rope, and then put that around, that's our thorax. You could pick this out for the legs, but we wanted to use that soft tackle. Where did it go? Where did it go? This was the first soft tackle we had. We need another soft tackle. We'll use this one because it is also ugly. I'm gonna notch out the tip. So that's the tip. I'm gonna notch it out and it's gonna leave a little V. And then I'm gonna preen back what I don't want. I'm gonna leave the amount I want for the legs, which is our little V. And then I'm gonna loose wrap that. Loose wrap over the top. Maybe we do it again. My V might be too shallow. You gotta place it over the top. Loose wrap it, Then I'm gonna draw it back nice and gently till I get the desired length for the legs, which is a little bit more. I think that's good. I'm gonna preen them down, tighten down on the feathers. And then you can trim that out just so you have more space to work with when you fold over your wing case. A non-jig hook is a little bit easier. The goal is to have equal leg on each side. So I'm kind of separating it out. Grab my wing case. I got one piece missing. Wing case is a little bit heavy right now. Grab my wing case and then fold it over. Legs are a bit sparse. Wing case is a bit heavy. But that's a little olive hare's ear, but not really hare's ear because it's all synthetic dubbing. With a little olive mayfly nymph. And then go ahead and clean it up. We're still going on about this paper on the, in between the, not on your chest, really more close to the hook. Yeah, but I need some space to work. So if the paper is too close, then I would not be able to work. So I apologize. Clean that up a little bit. Yeah, legs are too short, too sparse. Tail is a little bit long, but it'll fish. It'll fish. Let's try to do one more of those guys because we have all the material here. What if I bring this closer? Like, keeping the focus is hard. I agree 100%. We gotta figure something else out. So it is good advice. Okay. I guess we'll do some variations of this pattern. Different methods. We'll still use that soft hackle feather for our tail. So we'll get a little bit. We'll try to tie it shorter this time. I think that's good. Oh yeah, that's much better. Tie it up. I'm gonna fold it back over because I'm too lazy to cut it. And then we need our rib, which was our copper wire. But maybe we go chartreuse. I think this will look good. Chartreuse, a brighter chartreuse over that flatter green. Get like caddis larva vibes. And with the short tail, it also plays with the caddis larva. Caddis larva would have no tail, but the short tail gives us that profile. Let's get our dub in. Pick a little bit out. That should be good. Yeah, no, we're not going to alter the color of the dubbing. And then we'll measure out our rope. Measure out the rope. Last time our rope was way too long, and I think this time our rope is way too long, so I'm gonna take some of it off. Start wrapping our dubbing. One wrap behind the wire, coming back in front. Wrapping, wrapping, wrapping all the way to the bead. Then we're gonna tight wrap our chartreuse so it really is highlighted. It's kind of getting buried in the dubbing now. That's okay. Tie off the chartreuse. And then clip. Don't clip wire with your scissors, except if you have cheap scissors. I have very cheap scissors. Soft hackle. We used this section here for our tail. We're gonna use this section for our legs. I'm gonna clip it as long as I want the leg, so not all the way down to the stem, and then I'm gonna trim it out. I'm using a UTC thread, 140 thread, 70 rather, UTC 70. It's quite thin, but it's also flat and unwaxed, and relatively easy to split. That wasn't a very good split, but it'll work. That'll work. Insert our material in our split. Oh, we're about to lose it. We are about to lose it. Got it back. Okay, we're good. Now we'll spin up our thread. Felicia, hello Felicia. And then we're gonna wrap this as our leg. Ideally though, we get one clean wrap all the way around. The material's getting bunched up here, which is not good. I want about 1/2 centimeter of material so I can get one complete wrap. We might have to thin this out. One complete wrap. Yeah, we did it. We got one complete wrap. And then we preen everything. Preen, thread. Because we're going more caddis larva vibe, I like to do a little bit of black at the tip, on the head, as a head rather, at the tip with spreading out these hackles just to see if I want to clip some out. They'll lie in the water. They're not going to stick out so much. They're going to come closer to the body, which is good. CDC would also work here. But on all my caddis larvae, I like to have a prominent black head. I don't know why, it's just me. You could use a black bead or color the bead black. That would also suffice. And just like that, that's enough for me. Just a little bit of black. That's my superstition. I'm sure it doesn't matter at all. And then I'm gonna sink this down, that whip. I'm gonna try to sink it down so we don't have a lot of thread buildup. I'm gonna do one more 2-turn whip right on top of the old whip. And sink that down, tighten it up, sink it down. Enough. So a little soft hackle, caddis pupa type fly, hare's ear, soft hackle, olive, caddis pupa type fly. I need some caddis dry flies for this weekend. A little bit smaller. Yeah, this is a good size. I need about 4 or 5 of these because I'm not going to be around. So this will be enough for 2 or 3 days of fishing. Bear with me. This is a bad hook. There's a wicked gap between the hook eye and the shank, so I tried to close it with thread, but now there's too much thread buildup. Terrible. For the body, we're gonna dub it. You could use a stem, you could wrap CDC, but we need these done relatively fast, so we're just gonna dub the body. This is a nice color, grayish brown, synthetic dubbing, good for caddis bodies. Get that nice and tight. A little bit of orange in there is also good. A little bit of sparkle is also good. Wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it. Don't have to go all the way to the eye. And then 2 CDC feathers. The natural is the best. And then I don't know what they call different shapes or styles of CDC feather. But some are nice and short and wide, and some are longer and fuller. 2 shorties, nice and wide, is enough. And then we'll layer them on. Measure out the wing. This is our wing for our caddis. 1, 2. Tight, 1, 2. And then we'll layer the second. Two is enough for this size. You might go 3 if you're doing something a bit bigger. 1, 2, you don't want them cocked to the side, you want them right on top. 1, 2. You could leave it right here, or you could add some legs. The legs are CDC as well. I had a bin of old CDC feathers. In terms of color, darker, you could go darker, or you could do the same color. This is a different feather, but same color, and we'll use that. Actually, I think this is a little bit lighter color. It don't matter. Split our thread, insert, and spin. And then I'm gonna preen to one side and then wrap on top. 1, 2, 3, and then come back under 1 to finish up under. And then I'm gonna let my thread unravel. I'm gonna trim out these stems. You don't have to cut them all the way down. You can leave a little bump, like Alcaracatus have a little bump sometimes. Then manage your legs. Keep them long. Keep them long is good. You don't have to cut them short. Keep them long. And I don't want to stop this prematurely, but we don't have all day, so we'll wrap. And one more. Finished. Good caddis pattern. Fish this all summer long. Let's get another one. I just remembered I have to send a work-related message. I don't know if I can do that in the middle of our stream. I only have one telephone. We'll do one more fly, then we're gonna try to send that message. A little bit of our synthetic. Blend it in with our old synthetic. Dubbing rope. That's enough. Tighten it down. Wrap, wrap. Wrap, 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 wrap. Stop before the eye. That's okay. 2 CDC feathers. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. And measure your wing slightly longer than the hook. 1, 2. Flat on top. Second feather. 1, 2. Couple wraps go in front and then go back. Let's get our legs going. We'll use the rest of this one. Clip and trim. split the thread. Insert. I dare you to tie this and fish this to replace an Alcaracatus. That's my challenge. It'll change your life. So much easier to tie than an Alcaracatus too. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Do I go in front or stay behind? I'm gonna go in front. Let our thread unwind. Trim out our stems. And yeah, you don't even need to trim those legs. The silhouette is so nice. Oh, and this fish is extremely well wet, subsurface. You know, so very versatile little pattern. But it takes floating well. The desiccant powder. Easy to cast, lands right side up every single time. I don't know how many times an Alcaracatus lands on its side, which is okay, but it gets me sometimes. I'm going to flip our no. Oh, it pauses it, then it comes back. That's pretty cool. But we lost all of our viewers. That's okay. We're gonna go back to our time. A couple more caddis and then some mayflies. And then some streamers. A couple more caddis. Maybe we have to come up with this a little bit. There we go. There we go. And doing a couple more caddis. Maybe a few mayflies. And some streamers. That's crazy. So if you exit out of YouTube and send an email, it just pauses the live stream. And then you go back into YouTube and then it starts again, which is something new. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna wrap our body. Stop before the eye. I nicked the point of the hook, so our dubbing rope came a little bit loose, which is not something you want to do. However, these are flies for me, and I don't really care. And measure our wing, 1, 2. This is a very full feather. This will be a very full wing. situation. Tight. In front. Behind. Yeah, that's a very full wing. And that back wing is longer than the front wing, which that's not a good thing. So I'm gonna have to adjust. That's better. Our wings were so long and our feather was so long that we have this extra. And so I'm gonna use this extra bit for our legs. Just one side is all we need. So we'll take our extras, put them in our clip. And you could use the extra side of the extras to do another set of legs. Split our thread. Insert our legs. Spin it up. And wrap. Let's see, that's 1, 2, let's go in front. And let the thread unwind. Yeah, this one's quite full because the feathers we used were quite large. We'll let that unwind and then we will whip it. And move on. That's good. A 3-turn whipper. Let's do one more. I'll cinch that down. Trim it out. And finished. Dare we do one more? Yeah, I need it. Sorry. I know it's getting boring, but I need it. I like to fish a caddis in faster water. And this is a good one. This one fishes well in fast water, slow water, subsurface. This is a good pattern. Wrap our body, and then 2 feathers. There's 1 and 2. Measure that out. Second. This is another situation we're gonna have a lot of material left over. But we already committed to our section of leg left over from our previous fly. Trim that out. There's barely, this is gonna take some finessing here. Split our thread, insert our material very slowly. It's in, we did it. Spin it up. And then wrap. 1, 2, 3. In front. And unravel. Trim that out. This one, the wing got a little bit tilted, so it's kind of sitting vertical rather than horizontal, but it'll work. We're gonna whip this and then move on to something else. What do we move on to? I don't know. Kind of wanted to tie some stone flies. It's not stone fly season here, but summertime is usually a good time to fish a stone fly. Let's do a streamer first, then we'll do our stone fly. And we did our articulated dungeon last time, which was good. I'm trying to think. One hook articulated streamer would be nice. We got our hook ready here. We put a tungsten bead on the hook. We tied a tungsten bead in on the hook, but I'm thinking something unweighted or lightly weighted would be better. So let's take our wire. This is 0.8 millimeter wire, kind of, I think, baling wire, or I don't know what they use this for. And then we'll clip off a bit of that, and then let's do a bend, and then another bend. So we have a 90 and then a 90 going the other way. And then I'm gonna just pinch down 1/2 centimeter behind. If it crosses, that's fine, but I'm gonna pinch it flat, creating a little hook eye. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. A little bit long, I'm going to take some off. And then pinch it halfway, 1/2 centimeter behind. Let it cross over if it needs to. Now you can flatten it out. And that is a shank. You could do a game changer or other articulated flies. Yeah, there we go. Wait. Doesn't really matter for this pattern, but I like to have the hook eyes 90 and 90, which is, it is not, but it doesn't matter for this because this is not going to be a load bearing section of our fly, just going to be the tail section. Let us change our thread, go with our orange or white, orange, and we can thread our bobbin. Bucktail is the best material for streamers, better than any synthetic material they make. Bucktail is the best. So I kind of wanted to figure out, like, a deceiver is a great fly, but usually tied on a bigger hook. Trout fishing, you're not fishing those big hooks. You could, and maybe you'd catch a fish, but you would also damage the fish quite a bit if you use a saltwater size, bass size hook. So you're using a smaller hook. But I want to tie a deceiver style, mini deceiver. I'm thinking about 3 inches long, using bucktail, but for trout. And this is probably more effort than is necessary, but just something I wanted to do. I'm gonna get a little bit of tail material in there. This is olive. I'm gonna eyeball the tips. They don't have to be perfect. Then I'm gonna roughly measure out our length. I think that's a good length. I'm gonna trim off the butts. And then I'm gonna tie in our bucktail too loose, and I'm gonna work it around. Distribution is not great, but I think it's the best we can do. Then tighten that around. Okay, and then we'll do another section. We'll try to keep the theme olive over white. We'll try to keep that theme. So I need to figure out what is the top, what is the bottom. This is bent a little bit, so I'm gonna go slightly, yeah. So I'm gonna tie it in vertical, horizontal. Horizontal will get me a tighter tie-in. So I'm gonna go horizontal, olive on top, white on the bottom. That's what we'll try to do. Maybe we do a little bit darker. The darker brownish olives. This is gonna be slightly shorter than our tail. Do I want to reverse tie it in? I don't think so, because I'm not worried about the bulk. I think normally you would want to reverse tie it, but I'm not gonna. I want to spread out the material though. It's already looking a little bit bulky. I'm going to space it out more. And then before I tie, maybe after I tie it, yeah. After I tie this in, I'm gonna tie in a little bit of flash. Spread that out, a little bit of flash. Pearl is fine. 2 strands on each side, light flash. There'll be other flash tie-in points. Flash slightly longer than the tail. Then we'll do a bunch of white on the bottom. Not a bunch, but a little bit of white on the bottom. Trim that out. Let's get our white. We're on the last legs of some of these bucktails, I'll tell you what. Trim out the butts. Distribute. And then I'm not even gonna tie in another section. I think it's already getting too material heavy. I'm gonna add though a wee smattering of super glue. Then we'll spread that around. And then we'll wet finish. Should have waited. I don't think we even need to whip finish. We didn't wait for the glue to dry, so now the thread is all jacked up. There we go. Okay. This is our little tail. Olive over white. I'm gonna clip this so it dries, and we'll set that to the side. Let's get our hook. And we have to do an articulation. We're gonna use the monofilament. Maybe it's 15 pound, I believe. I don't know, it's Japanese, so can't really gauge the weight. But I think it's 15 or 20. And then we'll double it up just to be safe, so it'll have plenty of strength. We're tying in horizontal, so our mono should be on top. You could do a bead. You definitely could throw a bead in there, but there's no hook on it. And I'm not really concerned about the wiggle. It will wiggle, but I'm more concerned about the length. So we use the shank to extend the length. Olive over white. Let's loose wrap it, and then we'll draw it in tight as we can. And then we'll tie it down tight, so there's not a lot of wiggle. The olive will stay on top, it's not gonna roll. Maybe 3 pieces of mono would have been better, simply just to cover more surface area, hold it in place more. But we'll call that good. And then we can drop a little bit of glue, spread it around. This is actually how you would tie a beast fly. A beast fly is a synthetic. It doesn't have an articulated shank, but it has a monofilament shank, and you tie in just bunches of bucktail, creating a nice profile. I like the orange, kind of gives it like a brook trouty, spotty orange thing going on. I like that. We'll get a little bit heavier bunch of bucktail. Clean up the butts, measure out the length, slightly shorter than the tail. The question is, do we tie it in reverse or just straight up? I'm thinking we still do just straight up. Trim off the butts a little bit. Tie it in pretty close to that articulation. Go ahead and work that material on the sides, but you don't want it wrapping around the bottom because we're going to do a little bit of white. Before we do the white, we'll tie in 2 more strands of flash. The head's going to have some flash in it. And this should be slightly shorter than the tail. 1, 2. Give it a trim. On the other side. Give it a trim. Oh, what the heck? We just pulled something. I think we're okay. Okay, now we get our white. A little bit heavier. Heavier bunch. You don't need super long, so the tip is a good place to look because we're not going super long. Clip it. Oh wow, look at this. Look at that premium CDC feather just sitting on my desk. Pull out the shorts. Eyeball the tips. Tips are okay. Measure out the length. Length is okay. Trim the butts. And then tie it in. This is a little bit tricky because the hook point is there. I'm trying to think if there's a trick. I don't think there's a trick. I think you just have to situate it. And then you're going to want to distribute it around the hook. And tie her off. The trick is super glue, that's the trick. Add some glue. Moves it around. We're going to do one more bunch of bucktail, then we're going to build a head, and then the fly will be finished. Okay. A little bit of olive. Pull out the shorts, measure the length, trim the butts, and check your glue to make sure you're not super wet. Tie it in, no flash in this section. A little bit of white. Pull the shorts. Even your tips. Measure your length. Trim your butts. And tie it in. One wrap, two wraps. Situation. Tighten down. All right. So we should do a little bit of glue here. The hair will slip, especially because we've tied it in straight up, not reverse tied it in. So eventually the hair will slip out. So it's a good idea to glue it down. But I'm trying to think about this head. We have a lot of dubbing left over from previous flies, including this darker dubbing. I think blending this darker with some of this lighter is going to be the way to go here. We don't need to add a wing because there's a lot of material already. A lot of bucktail already. We just have to get the right head color. Then we have to decide if we want to keep the color scheme dark on the top, light on the bottom. Is it worth it to keep that color scheme for the head? And I think it's not. Because there's already a lot of white on the bottom. So we blended this up. I don't know exactly the composition of this blend, but there's some synthetic, some natural, and then some flash. Take out a little bit of dubbing here. I want to use as little materials as I can, but I want the coverage to still be good. So I'm not even going to do bunches. I'm just going to veil it. And then I'm going to try to distribute it around sides, bottoms. It's not going to be perfect. And then I'm going to tighten down. And then I'm going to move forward. I'm going to repeat that. And then I'm going to pick it out. So veil it, loose wrap, distribute, tighten down, and then I think one more, and we should be good to go. And veil, tight. And advance. Check our distribution. You never know till you pick. Let's whip it. Oh, we got some of the dubbing in our whip. And then let's pick it gently. Gently. I think the color's matching well, apart from the blue. Before I cut, I want to incorporate, because ideally we're not cutting everything. And maybe we're not cutting anything. Let's pick a little bit more. See the material we pull out, which is great. Leaving just enough to shape a head. It blends nicely with the wing, which is good. We'll cut that out, cut these out. Do a little bit of cutting. I'm going to straighten out that bottom bucktail. And then we will glue on some eyes, and then we'll be done. A little bit sparse on this side, also a little bit sparse on this side, but we'll cover that with a eyeball. Yellow eye, red eye, silver eye, glow in the dark eye, black eye. I think the yellow is speaking to me. Yellow is speaking to me. Eyeballs on your left hand. We're going to drop glue a little bit high. We want it to sink down in. And then we move fast. Place our eyeball. And we set. Don't press. Just get it firm and let it harden. It'll harden quickly. Yeah. Drop some glues. Place and position. The other side is okay. This is okay as well, but still a little bit wet. Clean up this a little bit. That's good. You could do a drop in front. I'm gonna add a little to this toothy picky. And I'm gonna just roll it in the front on top of the thread and then coming up. I don't want to get it directly in between the eyes. Yeah, that's good. We are solid. We have a really nice profile. Got a few longies. We have a decent taper, not perfect. We could do better on that. But this would be, you know, that salt water, warm water. Our tails are looking a wee bit long too. We'll kind of knock a little bit off there. But we have our mini trout hook. I think this will be a fun one. Really lightweight. You could 3-weight, 2-weight this. It's not weighted, so it's gonna fish, you know, just 5-6 inches under the water, which is what I like in some situations. So this would be a situational pattern. You're not bouncing this off the bottom. I think you'd work it in. You could swing it well, or you could work, you know, softer water seams, things like that. But yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Bucktail on a trout fly. You should do it. You should definitely do it. I'm gonna flip here. And these are our ties. We have some CDC caddis. Then we did some nymphs. Soft tackle, olive soft tackle, synthetic dubbing. This one has a wing case, synthetic wings, flashier synthetic wing case, and then we split the soft tackle and so to get legs on each side, but that's, you know, it's not that cool. The other one is more of a traditional soft tackle, and then we added a little spot of black dubbing to create more of a caddis larva imitation. Then we finished with our articulated bucktail little trout streamer, which is, I think, going to be a winner. So we're going to stop there. Okay, bye-bye.